Rao to Hessel. And Maynard shoots a three, and it's off the mark. Rebound by Hessel. And out to Hensley, and good as another three-pointer for the Purple Raiders. They'll take a 6-3 lead here in the first quarter. As Wilmington takes on the court, they're going to try to match that three, and they will. A beautiful shot there by Kelly Knoll. And it's a back and forth contest to start this one, Riley.
Yeah, it looks like neither team's going to take their foot off the gas. Both shooting at will. We're only 2 minutes into the game, and I think we've seen about 6 three-pointers.
As that shot's off the mark, and Wilmington will take possession. Fast-paced basketball going on at the beginning of this one. Knoll will have behind the line. She'll try to drive. She'll feed, and it's good as a beautiful feed there to Michelle Lee, and the Quakers are on top. Emily Rao tried to pass to Souter, but intercepted by Hessel. As a little bit of miscommunication there. They'll feed inside to Rao, and she'll draw the foul, so she'll get 2 shots there, as it will be Hannah Binkley with her first foul.
And that was a missed opportunity for a mismatch for Wilmington. Binkley much taller than Rao, but still somehow Rao able to draw the foul. Now Mount Union's going to line up for 2 shots instead of an easy defensive stop against a mismatch.
2 big substitutions here as for the Raiders. Haley Peoples-O'Neill, Anika Sweeney, and it looks like it will be Izzy Palamoni will check in for Wilmington. We will see Ellen Nilback. We'll see Zaria Bailey check in as well. So 5 total substitutions in on that last one. And Rao will go 0 for 2, but she'll get her own rebound, put it back up, and no good. And another miss, another rebound, as Sweeney will get it. Pass off to Schaefer, who will shoot a 3, no good. And finally, the Quakers able to get it as Michaela Binkley gets the rebound, and she'll take it down the court. She'll drive, and she'll force a foul. Didn't even look like she was really going for a good shot there, just trying to get the 2 shots.
No, and with 2 defenders on you, both of their arms crossed, you're going to get contact with one of them, so it was a high IQ play there to draw the foul by Michaela Binkley.
As we are 3 minutes into this first quarter, Wilmington 8, Mount Union 6, 2 shots for Binkley. First one up and good, extends the lead to 3 for the Quakers. And the second one good as well, so 10-6 Quakers. And it will be inbounded to Maynard. He's trying to lose defender, but great defense there as Bailey giving no room. Schaefer has it at the top of the arc. She'll give to Sweeney. Sweeney will take the deep shot and way off. I don't know if the finger was put on it. No, they're going to say just an air ball and Wilmington ball.
It looks like Wilmington's really going to try and aggressively limit Mount Union passing the ball. We mentioned that being a big part of this game. That last possession, they really struggled to move the ball around.
Bailey takes it down quick and will stop, and they'll call a travel on Michaela Binkley, who just ran before she had the ball in her hands and took too many steps, as Mount Union will take over and Maynard will take it up the court. Pass off to Schaefer, over to Sweeney. We have 2 sets of sisters here for both teams, as Mount Union has the Sweeney twins. Anika's the one in right now. And in to the paint to Peoples-O'Neill, and she'll put it in and almost cut the lead down to 2. Bailey will clear some room and pass it out. 3-pointer, no good. Bailey will get it back and put a floater up. Doesn't get the roll, but it is rebounded by Wilmington and just an errant shot put up. And they'll call a jump ball. Possession arrow points at the Quakers, so they'll maintain possession as Maynard will check out, and checking in is Lainey Ziegler, a sophomore guard from Pittsburgh. Wilmington will also do some substitutions, as you'll see Kennedy Lewis check back in, Elise Carpenter check in, as well with Hannah Binkley coming off after getting a little bit of a breather. As an inbound and shot is off, rebound by Schaefer. Schaefer taking it up, she'll pass out to Ziegler, and they'll pass it into Peoples-O'Neill. Ziegler open, top of the arc, she'll shoot it. just off to the right, and they'll call another jump ball, and Mount Union will maintain possession. Very aggressive start to this one, Riley.
Yeah, and I think the strength for both teams is going to be the post play. You see that Wilmington has the size, but I believe that Mount Union, just off the first glance in this first quarter, they have the speed, so it's really going to come down to who wants it more down there in the post.
An errant pass is intercepted there by Khalees Jones, but she travels, and Mount Union will take over right after the turnover. As Ziegler will take it up for the Purple Raiders, she'll pass out to Schaefer, over to Anika Sweeney. Back inside to Ziegler. Over to Peoples O'Neill, who's going to try to drive, open some room up for Ziegler. Over to Turley, who I missed to check in, but she is off, and Wilmington will take over, running it down the court. Up and in as Kennedy Lewis, who's been crashing the paint hard every time she touched the ball right there, finds 2 more points for the Quakers. Ziegler will do the same thing, and she'll draw a foul. Huge mismatch as her defender had a few inches on her, but she just does a good job at drawing the foul there.
Yeah, I think that's also going to be a theme of this game, is how many times can we draw the foul. As the game goes on, I think less and less fouls will be called, but both teams capitalizing early, just trying to get fouls put on the board.
Another substitution as Michelle Lee will check back in for Wilmington, and checking in for the Raiders, Sarah Hess will be back in after getting a breather, and Bree Gosman will check in as well. As Ziegler's first shot is good, cutting the Wilmington lead down to 3. And the second one, good as well, as we're over the half point here in the first quarter, and it's a 12-10 Wilmington lead. Ziegler with a steal, she'll throw it up, and she'll draw another foul. She'll get 2 more shots and attempt to tie this one up.
It's a great play by Ziegler. It looked as if Kennedy Lewis really was trying to out-dribble, and one errant dribble behind the back led to a foul drawn by Mount Union. Again, more fouls on the board. We'll see if Wilmington gets into foul trouble here early. That's about their 3rd foul this quarter.
And Ziegler will make the first one as we're down to a 1-point game. And the second one's good as well. So 4:42 remaining in the first quarter. It's a 12-12 ball game here in the MAC. As Mount Union playing press, and Wilmington struggling as they'll find an open man as Khalees Jones is down the court, and they'll finally get across half court. But Ziegler gets a handout post as she's playing some great defense right now, Riley.
And that's going to be the key to the game. Who can force the most turnovers? Who can play that defense? Ziegler doing a really good job so far this first quarter.
Kennedy Lewis with another strong take as she has 6 points and another layup there. And they'll call a push right there on Michelle Lee, as that will be the 4th team foul for Wilmington in this first quarter. Some subs checking in. As for Wilmington, we'll see Kelly Knoll check back in, as well as Michaela Binkley. And for the Purple Raiders, we'll see Kelsey Glass as pass in off a Wilmington defender and out of bounds. Purple Raiders will try their inbound again.
This is not the place you want to have to inbound if you're the Purple Raiders. Wilmington, they have a lot of size on Purple Raiders tonight, and that inbound pass is just difficult.
Gosman gets open in the corner, but just overshoots it, and no good, as Wilmington will take over. Binkley with the rebound. She'll take it down the court. She'll pass out to Kennedy Lewis, who tries to drive, loses her dribble. Back out to Binkley. She'll hand it off to her sister Hannah Binkley, and back over to Michaela Binkley. And she'll try a little mid-ranger, no good. And she'll get her own rebound, floater, and it's in. 16-12 Wilmington as we're under 4 minutes left in the first quarter. Ziegler taking up the court for the Raiders. And an errant pass intercepted by Michaela Binkley. And she'll 2 more for Michaela Binkley. And with that little run there, timeout will be taken by Susie Vanette, head coach for the Purple Raiders. And Riley, Wilmington building a little separation, 6 straight points right there.
Yeah, it seems like, yes, they're drawing fouls, but that aggressive defense is paying off. It's streaky, but like you said, 6 points on the board pretty quick. It can really distinguish your team from the other and end the game quickly. So the Raiders, great job to call timeout and slow some momentum there, because if not, the Quakers might have run away here in the first quarter.
As with that last bucket, Michaela Binkley and Kennedy Lewis now share the leading scorer with 6 for Wilmington. As for the Purple Raiders, Ziegler with 4 leads all. As Souter will check back in for Ziegler. And Purple Raiders will take it up the court. Glass has it, she'll give it to Souter. Beautiful picks up there by Hessel. There's a lot of ball movement here on this possession. Back down to Hessel. Out to Maynard. The shot clock's under 10. Hessel will just throw one up and off the rim and out. As rebound goes to Bailey, who passes it out to Hannah Binkley, who's just off on the three-point shot. Souter will take it up. It's a one-on-one. And she'll go up, and the layup is good, no contact. And Souter has 2 more points for the Purple Raiders. As Michaela Binkley fed in the paint, she'll put a little floater up, an awkward shot there, but she'll get it down, and Wilmington back up by 6. Maynard taking up the court for the Purple Raiders. Hessel stops, top of the arc with the ball, finds Souter inside. She'll dribble it back out, picks up her dribble. Gosman out to Hessel, not a great pass, but it's recovered. Souter has an open shot, she'll take it, and just off to the right, but Gosman able to get the rebound. She'll back down, and the shot is blocked. Rebound by Hannah Binkley. Bailey takes it up for the Quakers, makes a couple moves, tries to go up. They'll call it a clean block there as well, so back-to-back blocks for the defense.
And Wilmington's lucky that they got away with a travel there, in my opinion. It looked like she took about 4 steps in the crowd.
Maynard's three-point shot just off, but the Purple Raiders get it back. As Souter has it just at the end. Glass will take a deep three-point shot and nail it. As it's down to a 3-point Wilmington lead with a beautiful deep ball. As Binkley over to Binkley. Hannah takes a shot and is off again. Bailey will get the rebound. Souter with the steal. And she'll go one-on-one with Hannah Binkley. Goes under, they'll call foul, and just misses the and one, but 2 shots coming Zandy Souter's way.
And Souter is putting on a clinic on how to play defense here this first quarter. I think that's her 2nd or 3rd takeaway. And we're 9 minutes into the game, so she's really going to get some valuable minutes. And I've also noticed that Wilmington, I believe, is afraid of anyone with size on Mount Union's team. Most of our taller players, Haley, Peoples, O'Neill, they're getting double-teamed, and Sauter is left one-on-one most of the time. So look for her to have a pretty big game today.
Sauter's first one hits the front rim and rolls in, cutting it down to a 2-point lead. Checking in for Wilmington, Khalees Jones and Kennedy Lewis. Purple Raiders also have a few. People O'Neills will check in alongside Hensley, who had a little breather there, and Hannah Schaefer, as Kennedy Lewis will take it up the court for Wilmington. Picks up her dribble as she'll find Kelly Knoll. Back out to Khalees Jones. And Kennedy Lewis will drive and score again, as every time she takes to the hoop, it seems like it goes in, and it's back up to a 4-point lead for Wilmington. We're under a minute left here in the first quarter. People O'Neill fed inside, but great defense. She'll pass out to Maynard, who just misses a 3-point shot. And a lot of these 3-point shots are close for both teams. Just seems like they're getting unlucky rolls as Wilmington takes over. Out to Michaela Binkley, who will take a 3-point shot, and hers is smooth as silk, as Wilmington back up to a 7-point lead as we approach 30 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Purple Raiders trying to find something, don't want this lead to get out of hand. They'll find Souter, who's outside. She's covered by Michaela Binkley. They'll feed O'Neill. People O'Neill, who's double teamed. Just like you said, Riley, double teaming the taller forwards for the Purple Raiders, and it's off the mark. As 10 seconds remain, Kennedy Lewis says she wants isolation here, but she picks up her dribble as there's 3 seconds left. Jones is going to have to figure something out, and just Barrett pass, there will be no shot. So that will conclude our first quarter, Riley. And our score right now, Wilmington 25, Mount Union 18. What are your thoughts for both teams after 10 minutes?
After 10 minutes, it's pretty clear that both teams are just going to shoot at will. It's going to be a fast-tempo game. There hasn't been much downtime. I think only twice in the first quarter we saw the shot clock go down very close to zero, and two of those, both of them, were the Purple Raiders. So Wilmington really trying to put their foot on the gas. I think that they want to wear out the Purple Raiders, and defense is going to be an afterthought. However, if Mount Union keeps getting the turnovers that they're getting, eventually they will start making their shots. They will get back in this game. So Wilmington really has to cut down on that. Mount Union, they also need to keep on the defensive pressure. But we're going to have a close game, I think. Even though it's 7 points after the first quarter, it's going to be back and forth.
Yeah, and right now, looking at the leading scorers for both teams, for the Purple Raiders, Zanny Souter leading with 6. As for Wilmington, Michaela Binkley has 11, and not too far behind is Kennedy Lewis with 8, who I'm pretty sure has 4 in the paint points, or all 8 of her points in the paint. And those two, Binkley and Lewis, we knew they were the leading scorers all season long, and they're showing as they're providing 19 of the 25 Wilmington points here in the first quarter. As the buzzer sounds, and we're about ready for the second quarter. Here live from the MAC, as both teams looking for win number 10 on the season. Mount looking to climb a little bit in the OAC standings as they sit in 8th. Wilmington trying to stay in that top 4, top 3 area. As Wilmington, after 2 jump balls in the first quarter, will start with possession, and inbounding it will be Brooke Davis, who we did not see in the first quarter. She'll inbound it to Lewis, who gives it to Michaela Binkley, over to Khalees Jones. And she'll find Ellen Nilback in the middle. Shot up by Lewis and no good. Purple Raiders take over. Hannah Schaefer almost travels, but no call. Souter inside, a great pick there by Schaefer, and Souter with a beautiful layup as she's now at 8 points on the game, and the Purple Raiders back within 5 to start the second quarter. Souter almost gets another steal, just misses the takeaway. As great ball movement behind the arc here from Wilmington. As Khalees Jones tries to drive, they're going to call a travel on Khalees Jones, and Purple Raiders will take over. So 2 great defensive possessions to start for the Purple Raiders. And checking in is Michelle Lee, as she'll check in for Ellen Nilback of Wilmington. Taking up the court is Maynard. And right behind her is Hannah Schaefer, who will take the ball. She'll try to drive, and she'll decide to go back out. She'll find Souter, who's driving. Looked like it was a clean block there by Kennedy Lewis, but they're going to call a foul there. Kennedy Lewis surprised by that, but Souter will get 2 shots from the line.
It did look like a clean block from where we were standing, but you have to remember, if you're in the ref's shoes, it's really fast down there. It probably looked like he got a little bit of hand on the ball, but really great play by Wilmington. Just unfortunate the foul was called.
As Souter will hit the first, making it a 4-point game. Does a routine, second one is up and rolls in. As Purple Raiders will do a sub. Souter will check out, is coming in as Anika Sweeney. 25-22 Quakers. Sarah Turley will also check in. And Noel will be back for a 3-point shot just off the front rim, but rebounded there by Michelle Lee, who gets it to Khalees Jones. Jones to Lewis. Lewis to Michaela Binkley, who drives, goes up, and gets the end one as a late foul call there. She got the basket, and about a second and a half after, he says, well, no, you know what, we'll give you an attempt for a 3rd point.
And one thing I've noticed with Wilmington is Kennedy Lewis and Michaela Binkley are so good at driving the lane and drawing multiple defenders. They've got 2 or 3 girls wide open behind the arc every single play. And so that really gives their offense so many possibilities. You're seeing that they're putting all of these points up very fast, and that's a trend that's just going to continue if those 2 girls keep commanding so much attention.
Bailey checks in for Lewis, as they'll give Lewis a breather. As Binkley looking for point number 14. Her shot's up and good, and Wilmington leads back up to 6. As Wilmington playing a little bit of a press here, inbounded to Turley. She'll find Peoples O'Neill's, who gives it to Ziegler. Schaefer's going to drive, beautiful feed to Peoples O'Neill, and a basket, as that's one of the most beautiful plays we've seen today.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just ball movement, seeing where your girls are going, where your teammates are going, having that chemistry, and Mount Union certainly working on it.
Can't get a feed much better than that to Peoples O'Neill, who gets her second bucket of the night. Bailey trying to back down Ziegler. She'll run back out behind the arc and send it over to Michaela Binkley. And Binkley will pull up just from the three-point line, and it's going to get no rim, and it's going to go to bounds. So Purple Raiders will take over, and Ziegler is going to take it up the court. A lot of just standing around. It looks like Turley and Peoples O'Neill trying to set picks for Sweeney. They finally do, but Kelly Jones not giving much room for Sweeney. And looks like they're going to call a carry on Ziegler there, and Wilmington will take over.
It was an odd offensive possession for Mount Union. Just two of the women standing completely still, holding picks, almost trying to create a bypass, much like a wide receiver, like a pick route in the NFL. Just didn't seem to work, though.
As Souder, Gosman, Hessel, and Glass all check in Sweeney, the only one on the court remaining, as 4 sub in for the Purple Raiders. Bailey takes up the court, runs through 3 Purple Raiders. Great dribbling there. As she'll drive, floater, good, as Wilmington now up to 30 as they have a 6-point lead over the Purple Raiders. Souder with a beautiful move there to lose Bailey, and they'll pass it out. Sweeney has it behind the arc, over to Hessel, who feeds Glass inside, and she'll put up the layup, and just off to the left, no good. Elise Jones gonna drive, and a beautiful block there by Hessel as the Purple Raiders will take over the block and the rebound, and Hessel will take it up the court, and she'll hand it off to Souder. Souder loses Bailey there for a second, but Bailey quickly recovers inside to Gosman. There's two women on her. Glass gonna try to drive as well. No, Souder wide open behind a 3. She'll take the shot, and it's good. Souder's beautiful game continues, and it's now 30-27. Wilmington leads down to 3. Michaela Binkley gonna drive for Wilmington. She'll pass out to Khalees Jones, who's off the mark from 3. As Souder will take up the court for the Purple Raiders. She's going to drive, a beautiful feed to Hessel, off the glass and in, and it's back down to a 1-point ball game, and Wilmington's going to take a timeout as Coach Jerry Sheave says we got to kill the momentum here. Beautiful 5-point turnaround there for the Purple Raiders, and Souder doing a lot with it. Her beautiful game. She hits a 3-point shot, gets the assist, and just like that, it's a 1-point game, Riley.
Yeah, and Souder really helping this Mount Union team gain some energy in the second quarter. The end of the first quarter, it slowed down. She comes out at the beginning of the second. She doesn't really find much playing time, and then they insert her back in the lineup, and quickly we go on a huge run. So Mount Union right back in it, keep the offense running through Souder, and see what this team can do.
As Souder now has 13 on the day, leading the Purple Raiders. Michaela Binkley continues to lead for Wilmington with 14 as she checks out. And they'll bring in Kelly Knoll, and Hannah Binkley checks in as well, along with Michelle Lee. Purple Raiders make a few substitutions as well. As Wilmington, the ball's moving around. Bailey, just a height disadvantage there. Kelly Knoll from 3, it's good. And just like that, the lead's back up to 4. Beautiful ball movement there by the Quakers. Souder will take it up the court, and she'll hand it off back to her. She looks for someone open. Back to Hessel, over to Sweeney. Mika Sweeney over to Souder, who was open for a second, but quickly Bailey collapses and gets back on him in, and Souder's going to try to drive. Beautiful pass there. Shot clock down to 5. They got to come up with something. Hessel's the ball. She'll drive. She'll just put a floater up. No good. And rebounded by Kelly Knoll. As Wilmington will take over. Bailey takes up the court. Over to Kennedy Lewis. Back to Michelle Lee, and they'll call a travel as she tried to stutter step and comes back to bite her.
Yeah, and that's a problem we've seen 2 or 3 times this game with Wilmington is their team is so good at that first step, but sometimes they just get caught up and they end up with a traveling call. However, when they are able to execute that first step, we've seen Kennedy Lewis. She had 8 points in the first quarter. That first step is deadly when they can execute, but if they can't, typically a traveling call.
Lindsay Palamone will check in for the Purple Raiders. As Souter will take a 3 from the corner, overshoots it by a little bit, and off the foot there of Madison Hensley goes out of bounds, and Wilmington will take over and try to extend their 4-point lead. As we're halfway through this second quarter, checking in for Souter will be Maynard. It's a last-minute substitution. And the Quakers will inbound to Bailey. Bailey get it up the court to Hannah Binkley, who's going to try to drive. She'll pass back out to Bailey. Over to Kennedy Lewis. She'll drive and take an awkward shot that goes in, and Wilmington back up to 6 just when the Purple Raiders get it down to 1. Wilmington down a 5-0 run here over the last couple of minutes. And another awkward shot taken by the Raiders. Luckily, Hensley there to rebound it. Maynard from behind the 3-point line, just off. And Hannah Brinkley will get the rebound. And a nice save there over to Bailey by Binkley. Bailey will take it up. She'll get blocked as looks like 2 Purple Raiders kind of had a hand on that one as Hessel, Maynard do together, goes out of bounds. Wilmington will take over. Inbound pass to Knoll, over to Hannah Binkley. Kenny Lewis open from 3, but Sweeney quickly closes that gap. And Lewis will drive and draw the foul on Hessel. She'll get 2 shots looking to extend this lead for Wilmington.
I was just talking about how we hadn't heard from Kennedy Lewis much this quarter, but the past minute or so she's really taken over. Her first step and her ability to finish right outside of the key, I believe, is the best in the building right now. So look for her to have a pretty big game, and she complements the Binkley twins really well. Those Binkley twins, they do have some range, and it looks like she just takes it straight to the hole, and she's done really well this game so far.
She's the other Quaker with double-digit points, as she now has 11 after making one of the 2, as Wilmington leads by 7. And Mount Union does a couple substitutions there as Glass and Schaefer check in, but they'll feed Palamone inside, and she'll get a beautiful layup there. She loses her defender with a spin move, and it's back down to a 5-point Wilmington lead. As Lewis take over, pass to Knoll, over to Bailey. And Bailey will travel. It looks like that's a problem for Wilmington, as it's starting to get on our second hand of counting how many travels they've had in this first half.
Yeah, that has to be the 4th or 5th traveling call of this game for Wilmington alone. And you just, you can't keep dominating basketball games that way. When they give the Raiders extra possessions, it doesn't bode well for them.
Glass will shoot a floater, but too hard off the glass there. Sort of a line drive more than a floater. Maynard tries to save it, but she'll throw it to Knoll. As Knoll intercepts it, and Wilmington takes over. Bailey taking it down the court over to Michaela Binkley, who just checked in over the last foul shot. Or last travel, I should say. As Bailey now has it, back to Michaela Binkley, over to Hannah Binkley. Back to Bailey as they kind of just keep running it back and forth to each other as Michaela Binkley takes it back over. She's going to try to find something as the shot clock winds down. She'll just shoot, and no good. Rebounded there for a second by Hensley, but stolen by Wilmington as Knoll takes a 3-point shot, and it's good. So after getting a rebound, Wilmington takes it back and gets an 8-point lead now with 3 minutes till halftime.
Great hustle by both teams, just some unlucky bounces. The ball ended up with Wilmington over the Raiders.
And they'll call a foul on Michelle Lee on the floor. Some girls sub in for both teams as Elise Carpenter and Ellen Novak will check in for Wilmington. Zanny Souter and Sarah Turley in for the Purple Raiders. As there's exactly 2:58 remaining in this first half. Wilmington 39, Mount Union 31. And the refs doing a little bit of a discussion here before the inbound. Not sure what it's about, as we'll say, all right, we're go. Nobody's in the bonus as The teams have combined for 5 team fouls in the second quarter. They'll inbound it as Schaefer has the ball. Over by the script Raiders on the court. She'll drive, just misses, but rebounded and off the mark by Palamone. And Wilmington will get the rebound. Bailey taking it up the court. She'll drive to do a couple moves, a layup, and just a bad roll, but rebound stolen there by Carpenter. Hannah Binkley has it at the top of the arc. She'll step back, shoot, and a great roll there, and she'll extend the lead to double digits. 2:20 remaining here in the second quarter. 41-31 Wilmington. Schaefer has the ball over to Souder, who's open for 3. She'll shoot, and just off once again. Back to Souder, who had a little bit of an opening, but was not ready to shoot. Glass will say, I'll shoot, no good. Rebounded by Carpenter, and Wilmington will take over. Back down the court comes the Quakers. Bailey, an awkward layup that wasn't even close. But lucky for her, Carpenter, who has about 4 rebounds in the last 30 seconds, it seems like, gets another one there. Bailey, another missed layup, and rebounded by Turley. And after the not so great display of basketball in those last 2 shots, Coach Vanette says, let's take a timeout and regroup, as the Purple Raiders will take a quick timeout here. 1:47 till halftime. And Riley, if you're Vanette, what are you drawing up on this drive?
Something slower than what's been happening. It just seems like both teams are getting in a rush. Yes, Wilmington, they're executing this fast-paced style, and they're doing it well. And I think Mount Union is trying to keep up with them, but that's just not their style of basketball. They need to slow things down, find opportunities, and hit open threes. And Wilmington just isn't allowing them to do that. They're pressing the gas. You can't fight fire with fire. So if I'm Vanette, I'm drawing up something a little bit slower, trying to get my best players open.
As People O'Neill's will come in after the timeout, and if you're talking about who's really been lighting the world on fire for this Mount Union offense, Souder's the only one that has over 5 points. And by over 5, I mean 13, so maybe draw something up for her, but of course we know Purple Raiders can shoot, and when they get hot, they get hot. Right now, just baskets aren't falling as they find Souder behind the arc, over to Glass. Turley tries to get open. Turley takes the ball over to Souder, who had a little bit of an opening. Shot clock down to 5. Turley inside, and it will go out of bounds off of Wilmington. So the Purple Raiders will have 4 seconds to come up with something after inbounding this. Souder will inbound. Look for her to inbound and find an open shot and get it back to her quickly. As maybe not the case, she'll inbound to Turley, who has to take the floater just off the board, but Peoples O'Neill there to recover as it hits the rim, so shot clock resets and she gets 2 points as Mount Union back on the board. And Lewis with shiftiness in the air, but just wasn't meant to be. And nobody could really get the rebound there, but they'll call it off of Glass, and Wilmington will take over as Anika Sweeney will check in for Glass. Another sub as Maynard will check in as well, and Zanny Souder will come off. And one more sub here as they're just doing them in phases here now, as Hensley will come in for Turley, as Vanette can't make up her mind, but I think we're set. We have the 5 we want, and we're ready to play. And beautiful job there by Hessel to just hit the inbound pass out of bounds. Take a second off the shot clock and say try again.
Yeah, she absolutely did not want that ball getting in bounds. She threw it out with quite the authority, but look for some good defense to continue from the Raiders.
He's inbound to Michaela Binkley. Over to Kennedy Lewis, back to Khalees Jones. Over to Carpenter, who's open in the corner, and she'll hit. You can't get more wide open than that, and the Wilmington Quakers are up by 11 with under a minute left in the first half. Maynard will take it up the court, tries to slow it down a bit. She'll find Hensley. Hensley tries to drive over to Peoples O'Neill. There's no room, and they'll call her out of bounds as Peoples O'Neill thought there was a little bit of shove there, but ref had other thoughts, and Wilmington will take over with 40 seconds remaining.
It looked to me as if Peoples O'Neill threw it off the leg of Elise Carpenter, so I thought it was out on Wilmington, but the ref saw something different, and Wilmington takes over again.
As Carpenter over in the corner again, wide open and good as Carpenter's starting to heat up. She's rebounding a lot, and 2 back-to-back threes on back-to-back possessions, and Wilmington has a 14-point lead as this one's beginning to get away from the Raiders. Inbound to Peoples O'Neal, who just fights through the contact, and no good. Surprise, no foul call, as People O'Neal's getting nothing right now. Kennedy Lewis kind of lowers her shoulder, but they'll call a foul there on Sweeney, and it'll be an and one. Sweeney must not have had it. Nope, they'll call an offensive foul. Purple Raiders ball. So exactly what I thought. Kennedy Lewis looked to have lowered the shoulder, kind of doing a running back there, trying to get to the hoop. And looked like Wilmington was happy at first, but Mount Union will take over, no basket. 8.4 seconds to come up with something for the Purple Raiders. Inbound to Souter. Souter's going to take it up the court. A little bit of dribbling, she loses it, and it's just not meant to be, as the buzzer will sound, and that will mark the end of the first half. Right now the score, Wilmington 47, Mount Union 33. Riley, your thoughts on that first half of basketball for both squads?
Well, I will say that the Quakers are certainly showing and reaffirming the fact that they can put up points easily, and they can put them up really fast. Last time these two teams played, the Quakers again put up 102 points. Right now through one half, they're through 47. In my opinion, most of the scoring comes in the second half too, so look for the Quakers to continue that fast style of play that they're finding so much success with. For the Raiders, they really need to slow this game down. I don't think we can keep up with the pace that Wilmington's really trying to push. Those girls come right at you, they attack the lane, and so this second half, just look for Wilmington to try and keep the pace and look for the Raiders to slow things down.
And with that, we are going to take a timeout here at halftime. We'll be back here live from the MAC at the conclusion of the half. Right before, we'll give you a little bit of a recap. Again, our score, Wilmington 47, Mount Union 33. You're listening to 91.1 WRMU.
hear some funky Dixieland. Pretty mama, come and take me by the hand. I wanna honky tonk, pretty honky tonk, with you all night long. I like to hear some funky Dixieland. Pretty mama, come and take me by the hand. I wanna honky tonk, pretty honky tonk, with you all night long. I like to hear some funky Dixieland. Pretty mama, come and take me by the hand. I wanna honky tonk, pretty honky tonk, with you all night long. I like to hear some funky Dixieland. Pretty mama, come and take me by the hand. I wanna honky tonk, pretty honky tonk, with you all night long. I like to hear some funky Dixieland. Pretty mama, come and take me by the hand. I was once out strolling, wondering what had come to me. When I thought I had got to get I lay there on the ground, felt something like this.
Points to Sauter have 13.
Yes. Surprised I didn't bring us a stat sheet. All right, PSA after this song, we're going back on. PSA after this song, we're going back on. So after you're done with that tweet, I would just put your headset back on and we'll go back on. Here, let me see that for a second. I'm going to try to bring up the live stats. See if I get stats for us, since no one brought us a sheet. All right. I'll give this back to you for Twitter after half time's over.
You're good. I've just really been tweeting like at the end of the quarters. It's not spectacularly close.
Yeah.
I have 4 bars with
No, I'm saying put it on. Put it on, yeah. This song's almost over, and then we're going PSA and we're on. We're going to talk about the first half for a little bit. 1-2, check 1-2. And welcome back as we are live here from the McPherson Academic and Athletic Complex as we are moments away from the start of the second half as the Mount Union Purple Raiders and the Wilmington Quakers going at it in women's basketball. Wilmington currently leading 47-33 in Riley. Right now, the leading scorers as for the Purple Raiders, we have Zanny Sauter with 13, and Haley Peoples-O'Neill with 6, and Lainey Ziegler with 4 as they're on the low side of this game. And then for Wilmington, Michaela Binkley, 14, Kennedy Lewis, 11, and Kelly Knoll with 9. Looking at the team stats, this is a big one, Riley. Field goal percentage. Wilmington, 18 of 36, shooting 50%. Mount Union, a low 11 of 39, shooting 28%. And it looks like that's what's going to have to change if Purple Raiders want to get back into it for the second half.
Yeah, and I think the Purple Raiders have had a lot of good opportunities, just their normal shots aren't falling today for whatever reason. Some days are off, some days are on. Look for the second half. If the Purple Raiders can get on, they might be able to come back and make this a pretty good ball game.
More notable numbers is 3-point field goals. Mount Union 4 of 18, not good from behind the arc so far in the first half. And looking at turnovers, Wilmington has 10, Mount Union only 6, and it has a lot to do with those travels we've seen, but they're still able to have a lead here as Mount Union will start with the ball. As Hensley will have the ball to start, and she'll do a little floater off the backboard, no good, and rebound there, stolen by Hensley, and Hensley will try a second shot, and she'll make that one as a good start there for the Purple Raiders in the second half. Kennedy Lewis will take it up the court for Wilmington. She'll pass it over to Hannah Binkley, over to Michaela Binkley, who will step back, shoot, and off the back rim and out. Elena Rao, who we really only saw in the first quarter, will start this third quarter. And she'll take down the court and pass it over to Maynard. Maynard inside to Hessel. And Hessel, a little bit of a fadeaway, but no good. Rebounded by Kelly Knoll. Who gets it over to Lewis. As Lewis will attempt a three-point shot off the rim. Just a little short there, didn't get enough on it. And rebound by Hessel, who will find Hensley. And Hensley, the first second shot of the half, gets it back down to 10 points. And the ball started rolling away, so the ref's just trying to stop the commotion for a second as Knoll will inbound to Kennedy Lewis. Lewis looking to slow it down. Wilmington, who, like you said, played very fast-paced. Maybe since after a 4-point start for the Raiders like that, we slow it down. Not a great layup there, and it's off the hands. It looks like Kelly Knoll, and the Purple Raiders will take over. Inbound to Maynard. She'll take it up slowly. Move to Hessel. Rao tries to set something up. Rao gets open. Handoff to Elena Rao. Over to Hensley, who will get her fourth shot of the half and make her third. Finally, after 3 straight makes from Madison Hensley, Jerry Sheaf says that's enough. Timeout Wilmington. And just like that, it's an 8-point ball game.
And that's really what Mount Union needed to get back in this game. They just needed one person or two people to get their shots falling, and immediately 3 straight buckets from Madison Hensley. Great start to the first to the first part of the second half, and look for Mount Union still just trimmed it down to an 8-point game from 14. It only took a minute and a half.
Hensley's taken all 4 shots so far this half for the Raiders. Missed the first one, fought for the rebound, got her second chance, and hasn't missed since, as she is 3 for 4 to start that, as well as the whole Raiders team, because like I said, she's taken another shot. So 8:25, quick minute and a half goes by here in the third quarter, and the Raiders on a 6-0 run. Kennedy Lewis takes up the court for the Quakers, over to Knoll, back over to Michaela Binkley, and Binkley cuts inside. And Michaela does a little fadeaway, and it rolls out, rebounded by Haley Peoples-O'Neill, and Elena Rao goes down, but she's running back up. As Hensley takes up the court, she'll find Hessel inside into Elena Rao, and just off the side there, as it looked like Hessel had an open shot and didn't take it. As inside, and not a great shot there by Michelle Lee, as off the bottom side of the backboard, rebounded by the Raiders, inside to Haley Peoples-O'Neill, and she'll, looks like she got hit there. Confused on why there's no foul, threw her hands up, but no good. Michaela Binkley takes it over to Hannah Binkley. Almost travels, but over to Kelly Knoll. And Wilmington not getting the rolls to start this second half. Hessel up the court, over to Hensley, who will take a three. It is up, and Hensley, who we all thought would make with how hot she's shooting, start this second half. Just a bad roll there. As Gosman and Schaefer, Turley, and Souter will all check in for the Raiders. And Bailey and Carpenter will check in for Wilmington, as well as Nilbeck, who was a late substitution there.
You have to think, what if that last three-pointer went in? That might have been the spark that Mount Union really needed. Instead, you see a slight miss. Momentum slows down a little bit, and 3 new players come on the court. So we'll see if that momentum from the first minute and a half of the quarter can spill over here.
Bailey, a quick one, and she'll get up the court quickly. Almost travels as Khalees Jones will pick up the fumbled ball there, and Bailey will recover as she stands at the bottom of the M, or the right side, I should say. Michaela Binkley looking for some room inside, and not a great shot there, but they will call a foul as they're going to get, it looks like Elena Rao on the shooting foul. And that will be her 3rd personal and the first team of this second half. And Michaela Binkley will make her first shot, taking the lead back up. To 8 points. And she'll go 2-2. Correction, 10-point lead now as they added that point late. 49-39 Quakers, 6:59 left here in the second half, or third quarter, as Anika Sweeney will check in for Elena Rao, who seems to be in a little bit of foul trouble with 3 personal fouls early here in the third quarter. As Satter will hand it off to Sweeney. Sweeney just looking for a little bit of room. Over to Turley. Turley will step back, and her three-point attempt is blocked. And Bailey will rebound it. She'll throw it up the court to Michaela Binkley, who's all alone, and will get fouled by Turley and one as the basket goes in. And just when the Raiders are fighting back in, a quick turnaround of Wilmington building on that lead again.
Yeah, Wilmington, it seems as if they struggle to get going until the game gets close. And then at that point, all jets are on. They go 100 miles an hour, and they can't seem to miss. So something that the Raiders are really going to have to try and work on. If they can get a streak or a run going and get back into the game, they have to be able to stop Wilmington.
Kayla Binkley converts her and one. She's up to 19 points on the day, 52-39 Wilmington. As Gosman has the ball, she'll drive and off the mark. And Zaria Bailey will just let it go out of bounds, and Wilmington will take over. Carpenter will check it into Bailey to start this Quaker possession. A little bit of a press, but she's able to get to Carpenter across the half court. Over to Michaela Binkley, hand off to Khalees Jones. Jones going to try to drive, pass out to Bailey, who is wide open and just off the mark. Rebounded there by Hannah Schaefer. Schaefer finds Sweeney up the court. Sweeney into Gosman, who's trying to find some room, and she'll hit it off the glass perfectly and in. 2 points for Gosman. Bailey running it up the court quickly, loses one defender over to Binkley, and just off the mark, as Michaela Binkley does have 2 free throws and the and one, but from shooting range, she has been ice cold to start this second half, and they'll call a jump ball, and the possession arrow will go to Wilmington. Hensley will check back in for Turley. She had 3 points in the first half and now has 9 total as she started this second half on fire, and Odette says we're going to put you back out there. The offense has been stagnant a little bit over the last couple of drives. Inbound there to Hannah Binkley. She'll try to find Milbank inside, over to Kennedy Lewis, who will drive, pass out to Hannah Binkley, and her three-point shot is good, and now push the Wilmington lead to 14. And Sauter will take up the court for the Purple Raiders. Sauter hands it off to Anika Sweeney. The defense by Wilmington has been great for the most part today. Sauter gets a little bit of opening there, but no good. Hensley with the rebound, and her mid-range shot no good. Hensley with another rebound, and pass it back out to Sauter and says, let's reset. Over to Schaefer. Back over to Souter, who is wide open. And when I said you couldn't get more wide open than that in the first half, Souter might have just proved me wrong, as there was not a defender within 15 feet of her there. And she'll execute the three-point shot perfectly. 11 points is the lead for Wilmington. Lewis will drive, does not get the roll, but she will get 2 shots. Almost had an and one opportunity.
And that's what you need to stop if you're Mount Union. Every time you hit a big shot, Wilmington, they drive straight to the hoop, or they just get the ball movement. They make you think they're going straight to the hoop, and they kick it out. They hit a three-pointer. That's something you need to try and contain if you're Mount Union. Obviously, it's much easier said than done, but if you want to get back in this game, you have to capitalize on those opportunities.
They'll charge Gosman with the foul, as that is her first, team third, as Kennedy Lewis missed the first shot, and her second shot is good, as that will make it 56-44 Quakers with less than half the time left in this third quarter, as we're down to 4.5 minutes. And Hensley would try to drive, but she kicks it out of bounds. She lost her dribble, hits the foot, goes flying out, Wilmington ball.
I really think if Mount Union wants to get back in this game, they need to do exactly what they're doing now, and they need to just go full court trap, full court press, try and make Wilmington turn the ball over, because every time Wilmington gets in the paint, they either score or they draw a foul at this point. So Mount Union, they might as well just go and try and get as many turnovers as possible.
And Ellen Novak will draw the foul there, as Glass and Palamone will check in for the Raiders. And Ella Novak will take her first shot and make it. She gets 2 shots. She extends the lead to 13, trying for 14 here, just not to be rebounded by Hannah Schaefer. Schaefer takes it up for the Raiders. Over to Rao, almost loses there. Let's pass the ball around the arc here. Souter looking for someone open. Finds Hannah Schaefer, almost missed pass there. Schaefer backing down and finds Souter wide open from behind the three-point line, and she'll grab. You leave that much room for Zandy Souter, she's gonna hit every time, and right there cut it back down to 10. Almost gets a steal. We talked about how good she is of a pickpocket, but right there, we're gonna call it a reach-in foul. And with that being the 15th foul here in the quarter, Wilmington now on the bonus. That is only Souter's first foul of the night, so playing really disciplined basketball.
And I thought that was a clean steal, if I'm being honest, but it must have been some minor contact around the wrist, the hand area, and they ended up calling it on her.
If you're gonna foul, Kennedy Lewis is the right one to do so, as she has not gone 2 for 2 from the line tonight, as she starts off with another miss. Usually makes the second. And this second one rolls out as well, so she'll go 0 for 2 from the line. Doesn't come back to hurt her, as it ends up just being a steal. Palamone will run it up the court for the Raiders, tries to do like a Euro, and they'll call it a make and one there. As the Purple Raiders, it looked like she might have traveled there for a second, kind of just threw it up blindly, hand in the face. The contact was there, the ball went in. The Purple Raiders trying to make it a 7-point game. And foul shot is off, rebounded by Michaela Binkley, so it will remain an 8-point game, 57-49 Wilmington, as there's 3.5 minutes remaining in this third quarter. Over to Hannah Binkley. Puts a little floater up in the paint, no good, rebounded by Souter. Great defense possession by the Purple Raiders, not allowing any separation. Over to Schaefer. Schaefer finds Palamone inside, finds Rao inside, up and under, and good, as it's down to a 6-point game. Beautiful ball movement there by the Purple Raiders on that last possession. Bailey running it up the court for Wilmington. Sends it out to Binkley. Binkley will go up, and an easy layup for her, as everyone kind of just let her do that. And it's back up to 8 points with 3 minutes left in the third quarter. Palamone backing down, pass out to Souter at the corner. The three, no good, but rebounded by the Purple Raiders. Up and under, no good. She gets her own rebound. One more try, no good. Schaefer, just misses the rebound there, and Bailey sneaks in and steals it. Wilmington will take it down the court. As Michaela Binkley has the ball, she'll give it to Hannah Binkley, who will shoot the three. Way off, but Bailey there to get the rebound. They're going to call it a double dribble there. Mount Union ball. And a lot of the Wilmington turnovers, Riley, have not been, there's a few steals here, like you said, Souter probably has all of them, but the double dribble, the turnover, the travels continue to hurt Wilmington as they just are playing undisciplined when it comes to that aspect of the game.
Yeah, I would say a majority of the turnovers have all just been penalties against Wilmington, and had they not had any of those turnovers, who knows, this game might not even be within reach. But now that Mount Union is getting hot here in the second half, they're closing the gap a little bit, and Wilmington continues to make those mistakes while Mount Union, outside of the fouls, is minimizing them.
People O'Neill, Hessel, Hensley, and Ziegler all check in for the Purple Raiders. Elena Rao remains out there despite having 3 fouls. As the shot clock continues to wind down, Ziegler will try to drive, try to get something to spin move, and the basket. And one for Lainey Ziegler. And just like that, it's a 6-point game, and Ziegler's going to the line trying to make it 5.
And that might have been the best play we've seen all game. Time running out, takes it straight to the rim, does a spin move, contact, and one. That's really what Mount Union needs to get some momentum back in this game. Only 5 points and 2 minutes left in the third quarter.
Shot is good as it's 59-54. Wilmington. Mount Union trying to surge back with a huge third quarter. Binkley will take it in, and a beautiful layup by her as she'll extend the lead back out to 7. Michaela Binkley up to 23 points on the night, the leading scorer for the Quakers. Over to Hessel. Rao now has it. She'll try to drive. She'll back up. Great defense by Khalees Jones. Over to Hensley, who started this third quarter rally. Back over to Ziegler. People O'Neill has it in the corner. Again, the shot clock winding down as they're under 10 once again, as Rao has it, loses her dribble. People O'Neill's inside to Hessel, over to Ziegler, who's going to put 3. It's blocked, and Wilmington will take over. Great defensive possession there by the Quakers, and a pass just overshot there as Kelly Knoll tried to find Bailey, but Bailey, who's listed as 5'3", just couldn't get up high enough, and Mount Union will take over. Kennedy Lewis will check in, along with Ella Nilbeck. As for the Purple Raiders, Maynard will check in, sending Ziegler to the bench. Maynard has the ball. She'll find Hessel. Hessel just looking to get rid of it. She'll find Hensley as we're under a minute left in this third quarter. Elena Rao takes the ball with a little bit of a shove there. Maynard back to Rao. Rao, a little bit of a move there and in. We're back into a 5-point game as Elena Rao makes her second basket of the night. Kennedy Lewis drives, but not a good shot there, and it's rebounded by Elena Rao. Rao going one-on-one with Khalees Jones, and she'll be fouled there, and she'll get 2 shots as Khalees Jones had no other option than to foul.
No, she either could have given up a wide-open basket. She might have been able to take a charge, but I don't think she got back down the court in time to set her feet and really take a charge, take a foul like that. So foul them, send them to the line. Maybe they'll come away with 1 or 2 free throws, better than just giving up a free basket.
Big chance for right here for Rao, as the first one is no good. If you're Rao, you do not want to go 0 for 2 in this opportunity. She can get it down to 4 points here with a make. Second shot is up and in. 61-57 Wilmington. Sarah Turley's going to check in for Elena Rao. And what was a 14-point lead at half for the Quakers has diminished down to 4 as the Purple Raiders' huge third quarter has brought them back into this one. Kennedy Lewis hands it off to Hannah Binkley, back to Khalees Jones. Over to Lewis, who's wide open for 3. Not to be rebounded by Maynard, but she is fouled on the rebound, and the Purple Raiders just take over possession. As Kelly Knoll tried to fight for the rebound, just got a little too aggressive there, taking Maynard out.
I think you're starting to see Wilmington get a little bit frustrated here. Their lead is diminishing. Mount Union, they've gained a lot of momentum that Wilmington was used to having that first half. So these girls are going to start playing more aggressive and really trying to prove what they have.
Yeah, composure. Really seeing how much composure they have. Maynard takes a three, and it's good. With 5 seconds left in the third quarter, as Wilmington will have to shoot a half-court shot. Kenny Lewis does so, and it's no good. What a third quarter by the Purple Raiders, as the score of Wilmington 61, Mount Union 60. And Riley, we talked about Mount Union would have to take better shots, not highly contested shots, not as many highly contested shots, I should say, just more high IQ shots, and right there we see more wide open, more ball movement, and that field goal percentage is rising, and it's a 1-point game. Whatever Vanette said at halftime is working.
I agree. Whatever adjustments they made, they're working out well. The girls, the women are adjusting to them, and I thought they were going to slow the game down. However, they kept the game fast. They just reversed the tempo. They reversed the tempo on Wilmington. They forced Wilmington to slow down, and the Raiders sped up, and that's done really well this third quarter. We'll see how they respond in the fourth, but nonetheless, I think we're going to have an amazing fourth quarter here.
And you said the frustration for Wilmington, it is there, and it is forcing even more mistakes, as we saw a lot of traveling in the first half. In the second half, we didn't see nearly as many, but we saw a double dribble, a carry, and just a couple bad passes as well, as Wilmington's starting to do what Mount Union did in the first half, try to force things. And as we saw from the Purple Raiders, that does not work. And for Wilmington, it did not work as well, as there's 10 minutes left in this one to decide it, and it's a much better ball game now after that third quarter. As Mount Union will start with Maynard, Hessel, Hensley, Peoples O'Neill, and Rao out there. Wilmington will start with Knoll, Lewis, Bailey, Nelbank, and Hannah Binkley. Maynard has the ball, she'll hand it over to Peoples O'Neill. Fake pass by Peoples O'Neill, hand off to Hensley. Madison Hensley just decides to drive. No, she'll back out. Over to Maynard. A lot of ball movement, trying to find a good shot here. As shot clock's under 10, inside to Peoples O'Neill, to Rao, who gets blocked. Peoples O'Neill recovers. She'll put it up, and no good, as Wilmington will take over. We'll call a shot clock violation. Inbound to Bailey. That was a good opportunity for the Purple Raiders to try to take the lead. Last time they had the lead was the first quarter. And a lot of ball movement here as Hannah Binkley drives, no good. Rebounded by Hessel after they're going to call a foul, as Novak was trying to get the rebound, try to cause a jump ball there, but she just got, again, a little too aggressive. Maybe the frustration showing there, and now you will take over as Maynard will take it up past to Hensley. Peoples O'Neill is trying to back down, no, back inside. Hensley trying to find someone open. Rao hits the deck. She's back up. As Rao wide open, nope. Kennedy Lewis crashes back in, inside to Peoples O'Neill, who's going to go up and under, and one, and the Purple Raiders will take the lead, 63-61, and Haley Peoples O'Neill is going to the line to try to make a 2-point lead.
And if I can remember right, I don't believe that the Mount Union women's basketball team has led since the very first quarter. I think that they put the first points on the board, and since then, it's either been tied or they've been trailing the whole game. So, big deal for them to be on top in this fourth quarter.
Yeah, the first few minutes after that, all Quakers, but since the half started, it's been all Purple Raiders, and they now have a 2-point lead with 8:45 remaining in this ball game. As pass into Bailey, she'll take it up the court for the Quakers. As Michaela Binkley will check in on that last free throw shot, as they'll have the original starting five out there minus Hannah Binkley, who Bailey is in for. Rao will get the steal, and the Purple Raiders will take it down the court. Rao goes up, and layup off. Haley Peoples O'Neill gets the rebound to save, and the Purple Raiders will take back over. As Hessel has it behind the arc, Rao will shoot, but it looks like there's going to be a foul off the ball there. And Hannah Schaefer was trying to check in and tripped over the scorer's table. Everyone's making sure she's okay. She's just laughing it off, and you love to see that when you can just laugh at yourself. It's a good quality to have, and she'll check in for Hessel as she's still laughing, but Mount Union will have the ball as they called a foul on Michelle Lee for Wilmington. Whole bench and coaches laughing as well. Check in to Hannah Schaefer. She'll hand it off to Maynard. Maynard inside of Peoples O'Neill, who's going to go up and just off. Rebounded there by Michaela Binkley, who will take it up for the Quakers. A little bit of Euro step there, and no good. It was a beautiful move there. She'll get the rebound and one, as Wilmington will get their and one right there, and they have a chance to take the lead.
A great hustle play by Michaela Binkley, but I will say I don't think I saw a single foul on that play. She was standing up amidst a crowd of one of her own Wilmington players fell on the ground, and she just put it up uncontested. So I'm confused as where the foul came from, but great heads-up play by Binkley.
Good job by Glass, able to make it past the scorer's table without tripping as the coaches continue to laugh. It looked like they told her to be careful as she was running over there after Schaefer fell. Souder will also check in for the Purple Raiders. Wilmington doing no substitutions on this possession, as Maynard will check out for Souder. Caleb Binkley will get her one shot. It's up and good. She has 26 on the day, and Wilmington back on top, 64-63. Souder getting double teamed. She'll get it over to Schaefer, who will take it across half court. Over to Hensley. Hensley to Glass. Glass will lay it up just a little bit too hard off the glass, and Wilmington will take over. Haley trying to make some moves there, but Souder not budging. Into Michaela Binkley. Ball gets tipped by Peoples O'Neill outside to Carpenter, who hits a three, and it seems like every time she gets the ball in the corner there, she's not missing.
Yeah, she's been money all day from the corner, right behind the arc.
And Wilmington will take that 4-point lead back as they try to extend back to what they had. Schaefer has it at the top of the arc. Over to Hensley on the right side. Hensley will get not a great pass there by Hensley, trying to find Peoples O'Neill. It'll go out of bounds, and Wilmington will take back over. Lewis will check out for Hannah Binkley. And Khalees Jones is going to check in as well for Michaela Binkley. Elena Rao checking in for Madison Hensley. Bailey's going to take it up. Pass out. Oh, Hannah Binkley, correction, checked in. And shots off. They're going to call a foul on Wilmington. So it's going to be an offensive foul there. Off the ball. And it's a chance for Mount Union to cut back into that lead. Called on Hannah Binkley. 67-63, 6:40 remaining in the ball game. Into Elena Rao, who is wide open, and the layup is good. 67-65, it's back down to 2 points. Bailey loses her dribble, able to recover as Khalees Jones almost stole it from her own teammate. Khalees Jones almost travels, but after a little bit of communication there, Coach Sheaves says we're going to take a timeout and talk about this as 6:23 remains in this final frame. And the Quakers, who saw a 14-point lead, is now looking at a 2-point lead as time dwindles. If you're Coach Sheaves, you're really wanting points right here. You don't want to see Mount Union get back to a tied ball game or even take the lead.
Yeah, and believe it or not, yeah, they have the Binkley twins and they have Kennedy Lewis, but I really think you want to hit that corner three. They haven't been able to miss all day with the corner three. They've taken it to the rim, and they've missed at times, most of the time they execute. But I think their highest quality shot right now is that corner three.
And Elise Carpenter has hit 3 of those corner threes for the Quakers. She might be the one you're looking for if that's your play call, but right now she's lined up right outside the paint. Inbound to Kennedy Lewis, over to Knoll, over to Michaela Binkley, as both Binkley twins are in, and a great roll. She just got all the luck on her side in that one, as it goes in, 4-point lead for Wilmington. Zanny Souter takes it down the court for the Raiders, over to Rao. Glass gets open on a pick. Over to Souter, who's wide open down the three-point line, just misses as Kennedy Lewis crashed at the perfect time, but Hessel able to get the rebound there. Elena Rao inside to Kelsey Glass. Glass over to Palamone, who just checked in, not able to get it. As Glass has it behind the arc. Shot clock winding down. Souter's going to take a deep three. No good, but another rebound by the Purple Raiders. But Kennedy Lewis says enough of that. I'm going to take it. Wilmington, Lewis slows it down, walking up the court. She'll send it over to Knoll, back over to Binkley. Binkley sends it to Binkley. As Kelly Knoll has it right now for the moment. Hannah Binkley telling Carpenter to get open, sends it back over to Kennedy Lewis. Great defense by the Purple Raiders on this drive. Surprisingly, no travel call to Michaela Binkley will get a wide open three. Kennedy Lewis stopping a dime, may have taken a few steps too many, but nonetheless, 7-point lead for Wilmington. Rao will try to drive inside to Palamone. And Vanette not happy with that missed travel call. She'll call timeout.
Yeah, and I think that was just a blatant foul, that previous possession. Plus, you could have argued for a charge there. There was the forearm out in front. Binkley did push, but from what we've picked up from this game today, it seems like they're just letting them play for the most part, outside of the blatant calls. So really it's going to come down to who can buckle down these final 5 minutes, make defensive stops, and then make the most of their offensive possessions. Wilmington picking up where they left off at the end of the second quarter, starting to step up their defense and play more aggressively, and I think that's what they need to do to win.
Decent-sized crowd here supporting the Purple Raiders. Wilmington also have a good fan base that traveled, not too small, not large, but a good amount when you got that much of a drive for sure. But the Mount Union fans not happy with that last possession. As coaches discuss game plan and players back on the court. Souter will inbound it to Rao for the Raiders. She'll take it back from Rao. Over to Hessel, over to Hensley as they're going around the arc here. Hessel has a good wide open shot, does not take it. As she'll find Palamone inside, uses the left hand in, back to a 5-point ball game. Kennedy Lewis will take it down the court for the Quakers. Over to Hannah Binkley, back to Michaela Binkley, over to Knoll. It's tipped, and Hessel with this interception. The Purple Raiders will take over. Wow, just an easy run to the hoop and two. Back down to 3, and back great possessions there, back to back for the Purple Raiders. And defense. As Kennedy Lewis tries to drive off the side rim and out, but it's rebounded by Michelle Lee. And they're going to call a jump ball there. Possession arrow in favor of the Purple Raiders. Peoples O'Neill will check in alongside Maynard. Palamone Souter out.
And it looks like the Quakers are actually going to be able to inbound the ball here.
The scoreboard changed that very quickly, so now Mount Union has possession arrow. Wilmington will take over. Not a great layup there by Michaela Binkley, and Mount Union takes over. Hensley taking it down the court. Nobody playing defense again. She'll just pull up and just off, but rebounded there by Hessel. Took it outside to Maynard. To Hensley, 3-point shot. Just off as that would have tied it. Kelly Knoll with the rebound there and secures it as Peoples O'Neill tries to fight for it. Kennedy Lewis takes it, and they'll call a foul there, a reach-in foul on Peoples O'Neill.
And they're lucky they got the reach-in foul called before.
Oh, they'll call it a shooting foul.
foul.
Yeah, they'll call it a shooting foul. It looked like it was a reach, but...
I really thought they called the reach-in before they got to the shooting foul, but I guess not. Whoever props Kennedy Lewis for staying on her feet, she didn't even fall down, and she had gotten hit hard 2 times by 2 Raider defenders.
Glass checks in for the Raiders. First one good for Lewis. Lewis has not made both shots from the free throw line in every attempt yet. This is her opportunity to do so and extend the lead to 5. Second shot, no good. The lead will stay at 4, and Lewis continues to have foul line struggles. Over to Glass. Maynard in the corner, People O'Neill inside. Rao inside, wide open and good. As Mount Union taking advantage of that double team. They say you're going to put 2 on me, nobody on her. Rao finds 2. As Rao's up to 11 points on the day. Michaela Binkley trying to find room on the right side. She'll take it in and pass it back out over to Knoll. Back over to Kennedy Lewis. Back to Knoll. Knoll thought she had a shot. Decides no. Lewis trying to drive. She'll go up, under, and they'll call a foul. It did not look like there was much contact there, but she did hit the deck hard. Just an awkward shot, I thought. As they'll get Sarah Hessel with the foul. It will be her second personal, team third. As 3 minutes remain, Wilmington at 73, Mount Union 71. Kennedy Lewis will make the first of 2, extending the lead back to 3. Her second, good. She converts both. Bailey will check in for Lewis. It is a 4-point Quaker lead. And down to Maynard. We'll take it up the court, hand off to Rao. Elena Rao will find some room. No, a spin move. Didn't do much, but back out to Glass. Not a great pass there and turnover as Wilmington will take over. 2:46 remaining. Looking at the men's game, 8:57 remains in the second half as they trail Wilmington 69-66. Bailey will take it up the court. Over to Michaela Binkley. Back out to Carpenter. Over to Bailey. Khalees Jones is going to try to drive. And a great steal by Elena Rao and behind the back. And they'll call it off Khalees Jones' foot. Elena Rao, that was one of the smoothest steals I might have ever seen. As Jones tries to body her, and it causes the ball to come out away from her arm a little bit too much, and Rao says, I'll take that. And a very awkward shot by Elena Rao. Finds the glass and goes in. 75-73 Quakers, 2 minutes remain. And the Purple Raiders will steal it. A missed dribble there by Michaela Binkley. A hand gets on it for the Purple Raiders, and they get the possession back. Inside to Peoples O'Neill, who put up the shot. It rolls in. We have a tie ball game with 1:40 remaining. Timeout, Wilmington, as the Mount Union fan base erupts and the bench is going crazy.
And that's what's going to determine this game. If Mount Union can get another turnover and put more points on the board in this final minute and 40 seconds, I think they'll be able to pull away with it. However, the Quakers, they're so good at getting to the rim and making those easy baskets. You can't give that up if you're the Raiders. But as you've seen the past 2-3 possessions, Mount Union's defense coming alive for them when it counts most. However, are they going to be able to stop the balance and the three-headed monster of this Wilmington team between the Binkley twins and Kennedy Lewis?
And this is a very similar ball game to what we saw last weekend against Otterbein as it came down to the final second. A basket and one by Peoples O'Neill was able to get the Purple Raiders a 2-point victory. And a defensive stand for the final second. Not much of a stand when you only have 1 second to shoot the ball, but they were able to do so, not let anything easy slip away, and walked away with a 2-point victory at home as they're looking for their 3rd straight home win, and both teams looking for that 10th win on the season. Mount Union has surged back with a beautiful second half of basketball, and Wilmington has watched it slip away as they once had a 14-point lead, and we're now tied. 1:40 remaining as for Wilmington, they'll send out Kelly Knoll, Kennedy Lewis. both Binkley's and Michelle Lee, which is the starting five. Purple Raiders will have Hessel, Maynard, Rao, Peoples O'Neill, and Hensley out there. As Kennedy Lewis will bring it down for the Quakers. Over to Michaela Binkley. Over to Hannah, who will give it back to Michaela in the paint. She can't find anything open. Great defense by the Purple Raiders so far in this possession, as they're not allowing any room for a good shot. Kennedy Lewis going to try to jive. Not open. Just a great zone. Shot clock winds down. Binkley throws it up. No good. Kennedy Lewis able to get the rebound. And they'll call a foul. On the Purple Raiders. They called it a shooting foul, but Kennedy Lewis was not even in the motion of shooting. She was rebounding the ball as the refs will come together. This is a really big decision, and I mean, she was hitting the deck.
Yeah, and if they call her in the act of shooting and they do determine that it's a shooting foul, instead of just giving the inbounds pass, you're gonna hear a pretty upset crowd.
As they talk it through, and okay, they're gonna call it a foul on the floor, and it'll be a passing just as it should be, as Lewis will pass in for the Quakers over to Michaela Binkley. We are down to a minute remaining. Tied ball game here in the back. Mount Union Wilmington. OAC battle. Binkley will take it in a beautiful layup with the right hand. We'll give Wilmington the 2-point lead as we are down to 50 seconds. Maynard will take it up the court for the Raiders. Timeout, Vanette, as she is upset. She was calling that timeout for a solid 5 seconds before they gave it to her. But she gets it nonetheless as 52 seconds remaining in this one. Carpenter and Bailey are going to check in for the Quakers. And Khalees Jones as well.
It's going to be a big decision for the Raiders. Zandy Sauter, she's had an excellent game, but are you going to put her in right here at the end? Her three-point shooting has been streaky today. She's either on the money or she hasn't been able to hit. So are you going to put the hot hand in the game, or are you going to stick with your more traditional lineups you've been using this season? I'm excited to see what the Raiders do. In terms of Wilmington, we know the Binkley twins are going to be in. We know Kennedy Lewis is going to be in, and they're probably going to put in two of their biggest bodies to try and out-rebound the Raiders here at the end of the game. There's going to be so much strategy involved here in just 50 seconds.
3 players to shout out in this second half for the Purple Raiders. Haley Peoples O'Neill, who has 11 points now. Elena Rao, who is up to 13. And Madison Hensley, who started this trend off in the third quarter, as she got up to 9 points. They've really been the leading scorers of this second half, and all 3 of them will be on the court right now as they leave Sauter on the bench. And there'll be a pass into Rao, and one as Wilmington, all 5 players on the court. They said inbound to go, and Mount Union said rush it. Wilmington tried to overcorrect, and they get the foul. Beautiful call there by the Purple Raiders.
And that's what happens when you try to milk those timeouts. As soon as you send your girls on the floor, it's game time. Wilmington didn't quite get ready. They weren't ready for an inbounds pass, and they paid for it. The Raiders have a chance to get up here and put this game away.
And Elena Rao is going to get the and one shot, and if she makes this, the Raiders will take the lead here. 49 seconds remaining. Shot is no good, but you could have heard a pin drop on that foul shot as everyone got quiet throughout. 77-77 as we're down to 40 seconds in this contest. Kennedy Lewis over to Michaela Binkley, the leading scorer. And she's pickpocketed. The Purple Raiders will steal. Elena Rao comes up with it. As she dribbles it up the court. She's going to take it. Tries to inside. They're going to call it. Tries to get it to Peoples O'Neill, but it looks like they're going to call a kicked ball there. And Mount Union will maintain possession.
And she's lucky that's called a kicked ball, because she tried to thread the needle between a Wilmington player's legs. And just because it hit their legs, it's considered a kicked ball. But if that player were 1 second faster, it would have been a clean steal.
30 seconds in this one. 77-77. And it looks like Vanette's going to call a timeout, try to draw something up, but she wants points here now, because if they don't score, Wilmington gets the ball with no shot clock. So you really got to score for the Purple Raiders. It's going to be interesting to see who she sends out as well. As obviously Rao, there it is. Sauter checks in.
And I figured she would be coming up soon. She has just been electric tonight. She's really been the catalyst and the energizer for this team. And if I'm the head coach of the Mount Union basketball team, I have to send her back in. She's shown that she's been able to hit the big shots this game. Wilmington, like you said, if they get the ball back, they have it with no shot clock. They can do whatever they want, and I don't want to risk it with Michaela and Hannah Binkley. They've been so balanced all day, and then Kennedy Lewis chipping in, driving straight to the rim, drawing double teams, even triple teams at times. I'm excited to see the final 25 seconds of this game, but it's up in the air. We don't know who's going to win.
Yeah, it's been a really good game. The first half really showed maybe this might be a snooze fest, but Mount Union said no. We want to make this one fun. We want to make this interesting, as they've really treated the home crowd to 2 great games in back-to-back games. Checking in on the men, 75-71 Wilmington as 5 minutes remain. Braden Poole, the leading scorer, as he has 17. And shooting numbers not looking good for the Purple Raiders there in Wilmington, as they are only shooting 43%, as Gurley and Bauer Malone struggle a little bit today. But still a 4-point game and 5 minutes left, so don't count the men out, as they can score fast when they get hot. Inbound to Sauter, as we're back. 22 and counting left in this one. Over to Maynard. Kennedy Lewis playing really good defense. Maynard picks up her dribble. Over to Hessel, inside to Rao, off the glass and just off. And it's off the hands of Michelle Lee and goes out of bounds. The Purple Raiders will get the ball back with 9 seconds and no shot clock. So this is a chance to either win it or it goes to overtime. Maynard passing it in as she's looking for someone open. Over to Peoples O'Neal. She'll take the shot off the glass. And it's good! 6.6 seconds remaining. Peoples O'Neal will give the Purple Raiders a 2-point lead.
And Peoples O'Neal was standing there pleading for the ball. She was wide open for 3-4 seconds. Luckily we found her. And again, she's the ice woman. 2 games in a row, able to make that big shot right at the end.
She was the one that hit it in Otterbein and hit the and one. And right there, a defender for Wilmington falls down. It's a 3-on-5 when you have, or a 4-on-5 going. Correction, and Peoples O'Neal said, give me the ball, give me the ball. And you know her heart was pounding, but she finds the glass at the perfect angle. And the Purple Raiders just need one defensive stand here to win in the same fashion as they did against Otterbein. As we just talked about the men's game and how fast the men can score a 5-0 run, 76-75 Raiders take the lead with 4:21 remaining. As you love to see that from the men's team who's been playing so well.
Colin Gurley, Nathan Bauer Malone, Devontae Friga. Once those guys get going, it's hard to stop their roll.
2 layups by Braden Poole and a Chris Painter 3. Braden pulls up to 19 points, and he's helping the Purple Raiders out big time. As here goes the final 6 seconds, inbound to Kennedy Lewis. She's going to try to make something happen. We're down to 2 seconds. Into Binkley. 1, shots up. No good, and the Purple Raiders will win. They try to find Binkley, the leading scorer, who had 33 points on the day. It just wasn't meant to be as it rolls out, and the Purple Raiders will improve to 10-7 with a 4-6 OAC record. As for Wilmington, they'll fall to 9-8, and their OAC record goes back to 500 at 5-5. For the Purple Raiders, leading scorer Zanny Sauter with 19, not far behind Delana Rao with 15, and Haley Peoples O'Neal, who hit the big shot to win it with 13. Riley, your thoughts on this ball game?
Well, after the first half, we said it looked like maybe Mount Union wasn't able to make it back in. But the second half, they were able to flip the tempo. The Quakers had to go slow. Our Raiders could go fast. We got the good shots. We were able to force turnovers and make Wilmington make bad plays. Eventually resulted in a hard-fought win. And you have to be really proud of our women out there.
Yeah, as the Purple Raiders women, like we said, didn't start too hot in conference play, but that's now 4 of the last 5. Get a W mark next to them as they continue to climb and try to bring back what was a bad start in the OAC and this is the way to do it, win the close ones.
Yeah,
As
absolutely.
A great game, and not discrediting Wilmington, a great game by them as well. And Michaela Binkley, to be exact, we knew she was the leading scorer. We knew that the Mount Union defense had to watch out for her. She still put 33 points up, but the scoring came fast and furious for the Mount Union women as they had 33 at halftime. They get 46 in the second half, and they're able to come away with a 2-point victory. As for the men, we'll do a final checkout before we send it back to the studio and let you listen to more great oldies music. The men have a 5-point lead now. As we said, they can score fast and furious. They are as well. 3:28 remaining, 82-77. Thank you for everyone who tuned in on WRMU and the live stream. For Will Brienza and Riley Sullivan, we thank the guys back at the station, Jarrett, Joe, and Liam, for keeping us on air. You're listening to 91.1 WRMU.